Well guys, we got the smoker preheated here, about 320 degrees, about 300 down on this end. It's about time to put some wood on and get the smoke in. I had the damper down here. Like I say, I like to get it really hot and preheated, and kind of a way to clean everything as well. Got a large charcoal fire going, so this should sustain the fire that we need for a good 4 or 5 hours of smoking. Just need to get our wood smoke on there. We'd be good to go. I'm going to start with just 2 sticks, mixed Thai fruit wood here. I had a subscriber say they knew what kind of wood it was just by looking at it. That's pretty bright. Smart man. All right, let's close her down. We'll go ahead and open the damper here. Let it roll. All right. About time to put some meat on this sucker. And regulate our temperature down there around 200 degrees. And the smoke, she is a-rolling. Oh, she smells wonderful. The first thing we're going to do is stick some brine cured hams on here. Looking wonderful. We're also going to do some injection on these hams as we go along here. We're going to go ahead and load up some famous Kansas City spare ribs while we're at it. And yes, I promise you, my hands were clean when I started this. Bleach water, ladies and gentlemen, with a nice rinse water. We'll try 5 racks over here. I think I can squeeze that. Got a nice rib rub on. And they're nice and moist. So we don't need to worry about basting for the first couple hours here. We just want to get that smoke infused there. See that nice homemade rib rub on there. That just get perfect. Now, clean them hands a bit. Bleach water right here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's close her down and call it good for the first couple hours. Okay, I like to keep it opened up here. Got a good hot charcoal fire, as you saw. Got a good couple of sticks. Got the air closed off here. See our nice clear blue smoke. We can get that temperature back up. 200, 220. No hotter than 220. And we'll damper it down and let her roll. And what's great about this, I've got an excellent backup partner who immediately takes all of this stuff and cleans it for me and brings it back out. So I get to do the fun part, you know what I mean? Hey, thanks for watching today in Thailand. Open mic, BC. That's right, Chang, Rayong, Thailand. Let's get to smoking. Well, okay guys, right at that 200-degree mark, which is just fine and dandy. So we'll go ahead and close it down. Let that beautiful blue smoke into the chamber. You see it immediately starts feeding the chamber. Really like this smoker, guys. So shouldn't have to do anything but check the temperature here. In an hour and a half, 2 hours, I'll open her up, start basting the ribs, and we will do some more injection on the hams. So stay tuned. Today in Thailand. Guys, see that clear, clean blue smoke? I just opened her up there to increase the temperature a little bit inside the chamber. We dropped just under 200, so I want to bring her back up exactly where I want it, right there, 210. Close that off. See how clean that smoke is? Close that off. That's the smoke we want. We don't want no thick white smoke, right? We don't want any black smut charcoal smoke. Got our charcoal all nice and burnt down. Now we got our nice smoking wood flame going. See there? Go ahead and close her back down there. Well, it's been about 45 minutes, and all we're doing is keeping our eye on that temperature. And that's it. Beautiful evening. Also, just to let you guys know, I use vegetable oil on the outside of the grill after I get it nice and hot when I'm preheating everything. Got a oil rag, just use vegetable oil from a previous cook just on the outside, keeps everything clean and oiled up, rust resistant, right? Just use your old vegetable oil on there. Now I'm in out water and everything. It's been so dry, so dry. Hopefully get some rain coming soon. Nice evening for smoking. Alright guys, it's been an hour and a half. I'm holding just right under 200. Had it dampered down. So perfect, no problems, not getting too hot. It's about time to open her up and do a little basting. Let's do that. Okay, I just checked the timer and right at an hour and 40 minutes. So that one stick or two sticks of smoking wood definitely did the job. Still got a chunk of one of them left in the firebox there, so haven't used up all the smoke on the first round. Oh wow. I'm gonna base these ribs here first. Base the hams a little bit. Not too much on the ham because we are going to get some injection going there on these hams. Keep them nice and moist inside there. So we're definitely going to be full of smoke flavor. And this just helps to kind of offset that smoke flavor with a little sweetness and a little sour. Because we don't want to do the glaze until the final, about the final 30 minutes when we'll do the honey glaze. Nice. The ribs nice and moist. Ready for another couple hours of smoke. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Now we'll get that temperature back up. Show you how we get that temperature back up real quick. We got a nice hot coal fire going here. Ooh, doggy. Got the damper open. See, we had one piece of smoking wood there, just now finished off. So those two sticks definitely held us good on the smoke for a couple hours. We'll add a couple more. Mixed. There we go. Seasoned and debarked. It's really nice. I'm gonna leave that open up here and open up top. Let that temperature build back up, at least 200, 220. We'll damper it all down. Get that smoke infused for another 2 hours. Give us 4 hours total of infused smoke. I think it's critical to have at least 4 hours of infused smoke. Get that smoke ring really infused, pretty deep into the meat. And of course, you'll taste it throughout the ham. And that's why I like to do the injections. Like I say, it adds a little sweetness, a little sour, moisture. Make sure we're not getting too dry. And you can see just how quick that wood is caught on fire. Really rolling good. So I'll monitor my temperature here. And you can see she's come up real quick after we got her closed down. Got the lid all snapped shut, so got the dampers open. Get that temperature up. So in the meantime, on this next 2 hours, we'll go ahead and whip me up another batch of injection. I want to make sure I inject those hams at least one more time. And like I say, the final will be the glaze. So I'll mix up the glaze. That'll be the final coat on top of the hams before I pull them off of that. The ribs, I'll baste them again. And then at the end of the 4 hours, I'll pull those ribs off. And another process that I do with the ribs where I apply a mop and wrap them and put them back on there and slow 200 bake. Basically at that point, we've got the smoke infused that we want. So we're just using it as a baking machine after that. Get that moisture all sealed up and bake those ribs off for another 2 hours. That gives us a total of 6 hours of total cook time. And of course I'll be checking the internal temperature of the hams, and I always use Fahrenheit. You guys can convert that to Celsius if you'd like. I just stick with Fahrenheit, keep it simple for me. So I like to get 140, 145 internal temperature on them hams before I do my glaze. And the glaze, like I say, just gonna glaze them and let them glaze off for like 30 minutes. You know, let that glaze kind of bake into them a little bit, and that'll be pretty much a wrap. See, we got the smoke rolling up to 220 now, so like to get a little hot. I'm gonna close it down. Bring that smoke back into the chamber. Close down the air right here. And there we go. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Stay tuned, we're going to be pulling them off on the next round. Extremely hot in Thailand. Already got the ribs pulled off. Sitting over here cooling down. Getting ready for the wrap. The hams, the smaller ones, are exactly 140 internal temperature on these two smaller ones. The other two bigger ones are 130, 135. So they're pretty much close to finished. I'm going to hit them with the glaze here. And a lot of people ask, why are the charcoal black? That's just the nature of slow smoking, guys. I promise you, it's just a very thin layer on the outside. It does nothing but add flavor. And I will show you after 30 minutes of more baking time here, after I get them all glazed up, we will cut one of them in half, and I'll show you that that little bit of charcoal on the outside does not affect the inner part of the ham. Okay, guys? Matter of fact, it just adds flavor. So we're sweetening them up here with a little honey glaze. And we're going to get them brushed down real good and bake them for about another 25 to 30 minutes. Still got a good charcoal fire going there. We've got all the smoke infusion we need. And these two are completely done. 140, 145 internal. So we're just going to slow bake at about 150 to 180. You just kind of bake that glaze, like I say, 25, 30 minutes. And I always keep some glaze to add to the ham after I cut them open. And you can see probably now that I've got the baker's twine netting cut off of them. These are boneless front shoulder hams. So the cooking time on these is quite a bit less than if you were doing a big rump roast with a bone in, you know, traditional big holiday rump roast, which I will be doing some of those, but these are just perfect for ham steaks, or you can cut them thin, make ham sandwiches. I mean, they're just perfect for anything you want to do with these boneless ones. Now we got our nice glaze on there. We got plenty of glaze left. Want to shut that down. Like I said, we're just going to keep a low temperature on them. And get those two biggest ones to 140 internal temperature. I'll double check that before I take them off there. I've got the prods where I can be monitoring that temperature all the time, but I pretty much got the temperature of the cook time and everything down pat, that I can just use my digital probe right at this hour, 4 hours into the deal, and check them. And like I say, the two big ones need about 5 more degrees internally. Open that up there a little bit. Like I said, we don't need a hot fire. I'm just going to cook those off for another 25 or 30 minutes. Bake that glaze in, and they'll be coming off. And I will, the final shot here, go ahead and cut one of them open so you can see what the ham actually looked like on the inside. We just did the 5 full slabs of spare ribs. So that's 4 full hours of smoke at 200 degrees and under. So slow smoked. Definitely got the rub flavor, the smoke flavor, and we kept them basted right during the process too, so they didn't get dry. Now I'm gonna let them cool down, room temperature, which is really hot here in Thailand. Gonna wrap them, put some mop on them, wrap them, then wrap them in foil and put them back on the grill for another 2 hours of just slow bake. And that double wrap that we use with the mop on them is going to bring all the moisture that you want back into the ribs. Not that they're dry now, but you really want them moist. And the mop is basically a conglomerate of our homemade barbecue sauce and some other parts mixed in, including some lard, some actual pig lard for the oil, right? So we'll mix that mop together and get them wrapped and get them back on the grill. Stay tuned. Right? We just mop them ribs, right? Both sides. I got my cellophane laid out there. What I'm going to do is bring that over, right? Like that, like so. This is the first wrap. I'm going to do another wrap with cellophane after this one. This one I really like to make sure I get it sealed up good. Right? Okay. So there we go. Now we've got our fully smoked ribs inside plastic wrap with the mop on. See how that seals it up nice and tight? I'm going to put one more layer down, just for good measure. And you may say, now how are you going to put that back on the grill without melting that saran wrap? Well, really easy. We're going to wrap them with foil after this, okay? And again, all we're doing is slow baking them for another hour and a half, 2 hours, right? And as they slow bake, that plastic wrap is going to get really sunk in, right? Not going to allow any moisture to escape, which is the whole idea. Now, depending on how long you bake them, you can take them all the way to completely fall off the bone. But I don't like them completely fall off the bone. I like to have a little bit of bite left, right? Very tender, very juicy, really smoke flavored. But I don't want it falling when you can pull the bone out. Because when you're doing competition ribs, you actually would be disqualified by the judges if they pick up your ribs and they can pull that bone out. That's great in restaurants. People love fall off the bone ribs. Not saying they're not good, but they don't work for barbecue competitions, all right? It's just not allowed. We try to avoid anybody using pressure cookers or over baking their stuff, right? So that last wrap, just one for good measure. All right. So that's it. Now I'll wrap those with foil. You'll go back on, right? And it's just gonna suck all that moisture with a good flavored mop back into the ribs. All right? Alright guys, Got the ribs ready to go back on. And hams should be ready to come off. Should be right there. 140. Yeah. 145. Yeah. 139. 142. I know these smaller ones are done. Oh yeah. 140. 140. We are good to go, guys, on them hams. So what I'd like to do is go ahead and glaze them bad boys one more time. Oh my. Oh me, oh my. And the glaze is warm too. I don't like putting cold sauce on hot meat or vice versa, right? So I boiled this glaze off and then brought it outside. So temperature control is pretty important. All right, I like to say these are boneless front shoulders. Right, they aren't your big fancy lump roast hams, but they'll do. So what I like to do is go ahead and bake these ribs some more. Basically all we're doing, right? Baking them in the wraps with the mop, adding moisture, a little bit more tenderness. Right? And our grill was around 180 when I opened it, so nice and warm, nice slow bake on the ribs. Yeah, as an example. Like I say, these boneless front shoulder hams, once you take that baker's twine off there, you're going to open up pretty good, which is fine. Which is fine. I'm gonna carve them up anyway. I'm gonna carve them up and vacuum seal them. That's the best way to have them ready for the customer, you know. All right. So let's go ahead and cook these ribs. A little more, a little more, a little more, a little more, nice and slow. Guys, it's getting late. It's about 11 p.m. now. We started this deal by 5:30. So open that up, get the temperature up on them a little bit. We'll let them slow bake. All right, let's take a peek here. See if I get a carving knife of some kind. Shouldn't take too much of a knife to cut these hams. See what we got. Some of you folks say, what's them charred looking black things you got there? Them can't be any good. Yeah, look burnt. What are you doing? Well, let's see about it, shall we? Just what I'd like to do is just cut one right down the center here. I don't really have good premium knives here in Thailand, but I think this will do. What do you think of that, guys? What do you think of that? Now, I told you how thin that little charred skin is, right? It's just a little thin, but when you're cooking slow smoke like that, you're gonna have some of that. It's just a flavor enhancer. That's all it is. Look at that. Injected, smoked. You know, first it was brined, huh? Brined in a salt and sugar brine. Jake, you got your eyeballs on that, don't you? Ladies and gentlemen, with some fine ham. We get ready to sell a big holiday ham. We can vacuum seal one just like this, right? Good 2 or 3 kilos, right? Nice. Oh yeah, nice 5-6 pound ham, right? This one's even more larger size. So we can seal them up just like this. Put glaze over the top of them before you vacuum seal them. Make sure you got all that moisture in, but you can see how moist they are. Try this one. Right down the center. Open that one up for you. Juicy deliciousness. See that? Ooh, baby. That is some yummy, yummy honey glazed smoked ham. Like I say, as it cools, you can keep it in a pretty good shape like that in half, right? Keep it in pretty good shape like that, and then run it on a slicer, right? Have them nice thick ham steak slices, or however you want to do it. My God, it is yummy. And while it's cooling, a guy can always take a little bit more glaze here. Right? And let it cool off with a little extra glaze on it. Like that there. Before you talk about juicy. Now I don't think these front shoulders are too awful fat. These are pretty lean, young pigs. Right? Like I say, once that cools down, that is perfect on the slicer. Zip, 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 zip. You know what I mean? Zip, zip, zip. I guarantee you, you won't have any complaints on these style of hams. All right. Thanks for watching. I am going to get these in a pan, let them cool down to room temperature, vacuum seal them, and get them in the refrigerator. They keep so long, you know, fully cured, brine cured, and then smoked. They really keep well, guys. So, I mean, you can stick them in the freezer too, but they keep refrigerated for a long period of time, especially with the vacuum seal. So, all right, guys. Cook these ribs a little while longer. Same thing. Take them down to room temperature. Once we get them off the grill, take them down to room temperature. I usually cut them in half. So half a slab of ribs, vacuum sealed, in the refrigerator or freezer. That's pretty much a wrap, guys. Thanks for watching. Kansas City smoked meats. Oh, and don't forget our barbecue sauce. Oh, it's amazing. All right, guys. Peace and love to everyone from the open mic Chang, Rayong, Thailand. Signing out.